Yes, guys, welcome back to another video. We're going to start with Chelsea news here, and then later on we move into the Chelsea-Brighton preview. And bloody hell, does this game feel like we could go one of two ways here, you know? We could actually turn around here and put this bad 10 days behind us and be like, it's more than 10 days actually, isn't it? We could just put it behind us and be like, nah, do you know what? We're going to beat Brighton, because if we don't beat Brighton, bloody hell is the noise gonna ramp up. There's already questions. We're already seeing journalists kind of changing the narrative slightly. It's a year on when Chelsea's form started to dip a little bit in, December last year, when we had the Everton draw, we had the Fulham, the Ipswich defeats at Christmas. Everybody was behind Enzo Maresca when we're talking about journalists and the media. Now, we're seeing things in a slightly different way. And I want to talk today about the comments yesterday from Matt Law on the London is Blue podcast. A great podcast. You guys should check them out if you don't already know about them. And Matt Law said this: everything's a dig by Maresca. It's the defence. It's the striker. It's this. It's that. Owners these days just do not stand for it. They don't stand managers and coaches taking pop after pop after pop at them. Now, this is obviously a quote from the podcast itself. My thoughts on this are very simple. Enzo Maresca may well have turned a corner in what he's thinking, about what he's feeling, about his time here at Chelsea. Because what he achieved last season, I don't think many people would deny, is pretty impressive. Considering we looked midway through the season like it was all going tits up. Would we even win the Conference League? Well, yes, we did. Will we even get top four? Yes, we did. Did we win the Club World Cup? Yes, you know that we did. So the first season, big success. Any manager, in my opinion, that's got ambition for themselves would want to see backing in the right manner. What I mean by this is, yes, Chelsea spent hundreds of millions in the summer, but did we buy the right players? Did we give Enzo Maresca the actual tools that he needed to develop this team further? And I'm using the words that we hear all the time here on purpose. Did we give Maresca a team that would enable him to challenge at the very top this season? Remains to be seen. That's why this weekend is a big pathway. Lose to Brighton at home, this is getting way worse. You know it. We beat Brighton at home. This is the first step towards taking ownership of what we have. That is the next thing I want to focus on. Because what Matt Laws said here is correct. We know that it's clearly a dig from Maresca that Liverpool have gone out and shown ambition. Liverpool spent 500 million quid as champions, not because they want to consolidate in the top four, but because they want to win it again. They want to win the Champions League. Enzo Maresca is speaking facts here. No one can deny that. And I think the reason why this is a little bit alarming is because I don't think people expected this from Maresca. I think the narrative was, he's just a yes man. He's just going to go along with whatever he's given. And I think Maresca has actually taken this into his own hands and been like, actually, no, you know what? I didn't necessarily think we needed this, this, and this. I think we needed that, that, and that. And I've not got that, which is why I'm in this position. Now, obviously, it is still incredibly early in the season, which is why I'm saying this weekend could be the catalyst for the good and the bad. And I don't think too many people would disagree with that. But unfortunately, Matt Law's correct here, right? Whether you love or you hate Maresca, I'm reading the comments in my videos, and there's a lot of people that are saying, he was never good enough. You can't take the Club World Cup as like the gospel of what we should expect going forward or whatever. Maybe that's true. Maybe he was just a championship manager. But he's definitely earned, in my opinion, the respect to the footballing world. He's shown that he can change games. I do think we need to stop all of this reactionary stuff where we might be all right in the second half, but we invite all the pressure in the first. Have a bit of confidence. And I think that's what we need to get at Chelsea right now. Confidence to go at teams from the beginning. Whether we got Palmer on the pitch or not, whether we've got fully fit players or not, let's just go for it. We know defensively we're not good enough. We can't change that now. And that's the key thing. Enzo Maresca needs to focus on the team. Find solutions. We're complaining about the defence, but Champong started against Palace at the first game of the season, kept a clean sheet and hasn't featured since. Make it make sense. Use him. The solutions could be there. We just need to give it a go, which is also why people are saying, well, maybe Enzo Maresca is a bit too stubborn. We're going to find out now because there is options there. And I agree. I think we should have bought a centre-back. Still think we should have bought a goalkeeper. I was happy at the time, but then reality strikes. The season starts and we're slapped in the face with this wet bloody fish. You know what I mean? We knew that we're going to have goalkeeping problems. The last 2 games have shown that beyond belief. We knew potentially with Colwill out injured and how technical each positional role is under Maresca, we might struggle. Lo and behold, we are. But now let's just lock in. Hate to use that phrase. It's too cringe and cliche, but we got to bloody lock in, boys. We've got to go for it now. We've got to seize the moment, seize the situation, and go for it. And I will say this too. I do think what we're hearing from Maresca could be the beginning of the end. I hope it isn't. I really hope results turn around. And it is now. He's got those little digs out there. It's clear what he wants. Didn't get it. Clear what he wants moving forward. Will he get it? And there's too many times here where it's blame, blame, blame. I just want to focus on the football now. I really, really hope we can beat Brighton and then, of course, beat Benfica next week. And I didn't speak about this too much yesterday when this all came out, but that's the next story we're going to talk about here. Chelsea are facing significant backlash from fans over ticket prices for Jose Mourinho's return to Stamford Bridge as Benfica manager. Supporters are absolutely fuming after the club classified Tuesday's Champions League match as Category AA, with tickets priced as high as £83. Now, if you don't understand how the system works at Chelsea, very few people do understand these days. Don't worry, you're not in the minority because it's changed. But in terms of the categories for each game, AA is like the biggest, the creme de la creme, the Barcelonas, Real Madrids, Liverpools, Arsenals. That's a Category AA. Benfica, Category AA? Not sure about that, mate. But what I will say is this. There's no denying that Chelsea Football Club not having a shirt sponsor will impact how fans are treated. We are missing out on substantial revenue, and understandably, the club will do anything they can to recoup that. Doesn't mean it's correct. And this is where it's very difficult when you're making videos to acknowledge that something exists, but disagree with it. Okay? So right now, seeing the Benfica match as a Category AA, football tickets are astronomical. They're a joke. It is too much money. Chelsea need a bigger stadium so we can sell more tickets so we don't have to do this. Great. Well, what's the progress with that? And this is where we have to ask questions. Why do we not have a front of shirt sponsor? People will be like, oh, we're waiting for the big one. Well, we didn't get anything last year. We got, 5 million from Damac at the end of the season? Good stuff, mate. 5 mil. 5 mil. We got nothing this season yet either. What about the sleeve sponsor? So inevitably, it will be the fans here that will miss out because we ain't getting business done. I'm not talking transfers. That was earlier in the video. I'm talking about commercial stuff. And look, Chelsea have made changes. We bought new business people in. We bought new commercial people in, hopefully, to rectify this problem. It's a problem. There's no selling me down the river here. Chelsea should have a front of shirt sponsor. No one can tell me otherwise. So let's hope we fix this. But I fully understand supporters' frustrations. Look, I'm 6-hour flight away. I'm not going to Benfica, so I'm not the one saying, hang on a minute. But this is ridiculous. £83. Category AA for Benfica. Sort the front of shirt sponsor out before starting to charge fans and exploiting loyalty. That is my thoughts on that situation. But again, let's make sure the club get this one right moving forward. So bringing it back to what Matt Law was saying also on the London is Blue pod. So if they sell Jackson, if they sell Sterling, if they sell Disasi, they're not going to count. To bring players in next summer, they're going to have to trade again. It's going to make next summer very, very difficult. Matt Law is obviously here referring to the UEFA settlement. We've had 1 year of transfer window now where we have had this penalty from UEFA where we have to have, net 20 million or something along those lines. And as much as people might think that this is wrong, from my understanding of things, this is true. If a player isn't registered in Chelsea's UEFA list this season, Selling them next summer will not impact the finances when it comes to Chelsea reaching that threshold. There's some people that are saying Matt Law's talking nonsense here. I'm not doing the books. I'm not understanding all of these rules entirely. It's very difficult from any kind of fan's perspective. But from my understanding, Chelsea will need to sell players from their UEFA list. Why would it be different next year to not being able to include Felix in that this summer? So we're not going to be able to include the money from selling Jackson, which means if we want to spend money on the squad next summer to get it to a better level, we're going to have to sell first team players. Now, I'm looking at that and thinking, who in the first team right now's value has massively gone up? All of the players you would not want to sell. I don't want to see Palmer leaving. Don't want to see Caicedo leaving. Enzo Fernandez is the one that I think people might be like, could it be him? But also, I don't see Real Madrid or any other club for that matter offering Chelsea something that would make this like really good on our books. You know what I mean? Has Enzo Fernandez gone from a £105 million player to more than that? I like Enzo Fernandez. He's made huge strides in the last year at Chelsea, currently out of form. So I'm not going to use the fact he's currently out of form to just shove him under the bus. Do I pick him against Brighton? Maybe, maybe not. I'm going to see it in the preview later on today. But I think there is definitely going to be some hard conversations that will need to be had. And I just hope that Chelsea's on-field results improve so that the players we really don't want to sell, you know who I'm talking about here, if we're looking like we're not in the Champions League next season, these top players, they're not staying around. So that's why we're in a predicament now, because is the squad at a level to get at least back in the Champions League next season? Too early to say. I hope it is. I really do. But fingers crossed, I hope we just get back in the Champions League, man. That's important. Speaking about Sterling, according to The Athletic, Raheem Sterling turned down Bayern, not for football, but for family. He wanted to stay in London, where his partner and children are settled. Fair enough. We can put this story to bed, for goodness sake. Having these conversations that were had a couple of weeks ago now about, Chelsea's treatment of Sterling and Disasi is questionable. I don't think this conversation can even exist. If Sterling's got the chance to go to Bayern Munich, we can't be talking about footballers' welfare here. He's not part of the plans. He's not good enough anymore to play for Chelsea. So if Sterling wants to stay in London for his family, fair enough, mate. I'm not going to say that he's wrong to do that. He's got a contract. If I could get 300 grand a week to go and do a training session in the dark a couple of times a week at Cobham, I'd be delighted with that money. I think you all would, wouldn't we? So this whole conversation about Chelsea's treatment of Sterling, put it to bed, mate. If he didn't want to move because he's happy to get paid, because he wants to be there with his family, fair enough. I wouldn't want to leave my family either if they've just been in school or whatnot. But the solution to this surely has to be to try and find a settlement here with Sterling, because Chelsea paying him 300 grand a week, this is a nightmare. This is a mess. But it's a mess that we've put ourselves in. Too long a contract, and this is also why now the club don't go and buy experienced players, because we're seeing us suffer as a result of doing that. But I guess that is where squad planning comes in. I guess that's where knowing what we're buying comes in. That's my thoughts on that. This whole player welfare thing, nonsense, mate. Absolute nonsense. It's a choice. And if Sterling's happy with that, it's the end of his England career. Could even be the end of his top flight footballing career. But if it's for family, fair play. Fair play. But Chelsea try and find a solution financially. Going to wrap this video up here. Chelsea-Brighton preview later on today. I know it's a difficult conversation at the moment because there's a lot of questions. I think that's where I'm feeling with it right now. It's not positive. Certainly isn't. But I'm praying that we win tomorrow. See you guys later. Come on, you Blues.